Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Courtney Bryant. The shooting happened just after 9 this morning during an operation to remove people from the area near the planned Atlanta Police Training Facility. Our Fox 5 News team is bringing you the latest on this developing story. Fox 5 anchor Christine Spiro is looking at the incidents surrounding the growing conflict. But first, our Christopher King joins us live at the site of the so-called Cop City, where these ongoing protests took a deadly turn today. Christopher.
Courtney, this is the entrance to Entrenchment Creek Park. Protesters would often set up food giveaways here, but some put up barricades. Those barricades are now rubble. All this after the GBI says a male protester opened fire on a state trooper. Law enforcement on Wednesday morning swarmed Entrenchment Creek Park. They cleared protesters they say illegally camped out in the woods on the site of a training center for Atlanta police. Then the confrontation turned violent.
Someone on the property, as law enforcement came into view, initiated fire on the law enforcement entities, and they returned fire.
The GBI says a trooper shot in the abdomen as officers entered the park. They fired back at the suspected gunman. He died at the scene.
Law enforcement can't stand by while serious criminal acts are being committed that jeopardize the safety of the citizens we're sworn to protect.
The trooper recovering at the hospital after undergoing surgery. Wednesday's conflict comes after more than a year of tension between police and protesters over a $90 million center protesters call Cop City.
Police defend the forest!
Officers on Wednesday detained at least 4 other people, including this man. It isn't clear if any of them are charged in connection with the shooting. They claim officers attacked them.
They're demolishing the encampment in the forest. They're sending in drones and chemical weapons against free-sitters.
Many protesters have camped out for months in the woods they call Wilani. They say they peacefully oppose expansion of a police state into the forest.
We're dealing not with protesters, but with criminals.
But the GBI says at least some of them are violent. The GBI accuses protesters of attacking police, firefighters, and neighbors of nearby communities.
We have people conducting criminal activity, illegally occupying a property, but more so than that, they're endangering the community and the citizens around this area.
Now, state
injuring him, shooting him in the pelvis, and then the law enforcement responded by shooting back. The protesters who were out here last night say that they want to see a full, complete investigation to see what really happened.
Peaceful protest is not domestic terrorism. This is a chilling effect on the peaceful right of assembly, the First Amendment. Police murdered a peaceful protester.
There's a difference between protest and what's happening there. Arson, attacking citizens, shooting police officers, using explosives, beating people up, then burning their car down.
So obviously, a difference of opinion as to what these protesters are doing. We can tell you that about 25 or so, maybe more, campsites were actually broken up as a result of this. And the GBI says it found the following. I'm going to read them to you. They say they found mortar-style fireworks, multiple edge weapons, pellet rifles, gas masks, and a blowtorch, all of which were taken in for evidence. Now, we're going to have an awful lot more in this story for you coming up at 5 o'clock. But for now, that's the latest from here at the DeKalb County Jail. I'm Mark Teichner for Good Day Atlanta. Buck, back to you.
All right, Mark, thank you. We'll check back in with you later. Now, some protesters have issued a call to violence tonight in retaliation for their friend's death. APD released a statement saying, quote, "Our officers are on high alert, and we will continue our work to keep our streets safe for our residents, businesses, and visitors alike."
Well, now they shot back, killing that protester, and now the GBI says they discovered a gun. The agency says investigators found that gun on a protester. A silent memorial for an activist shot and killed during a law enforcement raid at the site of a planned training center for Atlanta police.
I wanted to be with other people who are feeling the same way for the same reasons.
Dozens of people lit candles for Manuel Teran, who friends call for Pugita.
I am not for a violent movement. I do not agree with a protester instigating police. I have seen that police have terrorized Atlanta forest offenders.
Law enforcement on Wednesday raided Entrenchment Creek Park to clear the woods of activists camped out there protesting the site they call Cop City. The GBI says Tehran opened fire, wounding a state trooper. The agency says officers shot back, killing Tehran.
We're dealing not with protesters, but with criminals.
And now the GBI says investigators recovered this handgun from the scene. The agency describes it as a Smith & Wesson M&P Shield 9mm. The GBI says ballistic investigators matched the gun they say they found on Tehran to the bullet that wounded the trooper.
Arson, attacking citizens, shooting police officers, using explosives, beating people up, then burning their car down.
The GBI accuses some protesters of attacking police, firefighters, and nearby communities, damaging property and setting fires. They've conducted numerous raids and charged at least 12 protesters with domestic terrorism.
Are they domestic terrorists?
I don't think so. What terror are they causing? Who's terrorizing whom?
Now, there were some calls on social media.
Atlanta now, where a protest quickly turned violent late last night. Take a look.
Oh my God. Fucking idiots.
Terrifying scene there. A police cruiser was set on fire during a demonstration downtown yesterday. The protesters say they're upset about a deadly attack that happened at a separate protest on Wednesday. One person died and another shot a Georgia state trooper. The demonstrators have spent months protesting the proposed building of a police training facility. Agents with the Georgia Bureau of Investigation say they even found explosive devices and weapons while removing 25 campsites around the property on Wednesday. And police say at least 7 people have been arrested so far on charges of domestic terrorism. We're learning